Slight spoiler alert, but the following show may contain goals. 60, in fact, with the 57 that arrived on Saturday, a new single-day record in MLS. So settle in for a wild week 24. We begin at Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
A big hitter in the east.
Joseph Martinez with the header, and it's in.
Against another from the west.
The ball play for Morris!
But both needed to pick up the pace in the race for the playoffs.
Ronaldo Cisneros, edge of the area, back in the net! Mr. Perfect from the penalty spot.
Commentary on Atlanta versus Seattle comes from Stuart Robson and Phil Blacker.
This is Araujo on the end of it, cutting it back threateningly, and it will come through for Cisneros. Helped in by Martinez on the line. And Atlanta United have got their noses in front here. Stefan Fry is beaten. A scruffy goal, but they won't care.
And any question marks about Martinez being offside? There was a Seattle player that was off the pitch beyond the goal line, playing him on the side.
Roldan able to whip it in towards Morris, and that had Rocco Rios Novo in trouble, able to scramble across, assisted I think by the frame of his goal in keeping it out. Bit of space for Cisneros. Thiago Almada takes over. Araujo, and Fry got a foot to it, so importantly as it turned out.
He was tumbling, but still got that left foot shot away, and a good save, you have to say, by Fry.
Now Ruznek leaves it for Ladero. Wide is Nuhu. Rui Diaz is in there, so is Christian Roldan. And Seattle are level. Took it well. Roldan levels it up at 1-1.
Wozniak with a clever bit of play. Ladero looked as though he's going to strike it, plays it out to Nuhu. There's half a chance there, and he shows good composure, Christian Roldan.
Going into this closing quarter of an hour of the 90. Rui Diaz, it's a brilliant effort out of almost nothing, and it forces the flying save from Rocco Rios Novo, who was equal to that as he had to be. Araujo stopped by Nuhu. Moreno trying to pick up the pieces though. Andrew Gutman setting himself, and surely winning the game. Off the bench to make all the difference.
Watch how he just cuts across the ball. Starts wide and then bends it. It's a great goal.
Full time, Atlanta United 2, the Seattle Sounders 1.
We said, okay, I don't care how, but today we need the 3 points. I don't care if it is we dominate in possession, great. If we don't, if we score a goal in the last minute, let's do it. And then Andrew gave us that, and it was just a perfect ending for my message before the game. A very good victory for the team.
Having beaten Seattle themselves last time out, Western Conference leaders LAFC swiftly showed their quality against Real Salt Lake.
And it's the backheel flick from Arango!
A touch of genius from the Colombian, and South American forwards were indeed flourishing in the first 12 minutes. RSL's Venezuelan Sergio Cordova equalised via pure accuracy to give Rio Tinto Stadium what they really came to see. The conversations about RSL denting LAFC's Supporters' Shield quest would probably have still been taking place when this then happened.
Oh, what a hit! The goals just keep flying in!
Kellen Acosta immediately shattering home optimism. Pablo Ruiz almost got them back off their seats again after the break. Maxime Crepeau left clutching air in the LAFC goal. Then, on the hour, clear daylight for the visitors. Arango there again. Of LAFC's past 10 games, there are only 2 that the forward hasn't scored in. And of course, he now has a glittering supporting cast too. Gareth Bale is still yet to start a match for LAFC, but his influence is unquestionable.
Gareth Bale will score! Yes!
You sense those words might be uttered a few more times in the weeks ahead.
LAFC's nearest challengers, Austin, have reserved their best performances for the road, so a 6th-minute opener at Q2 Stadium was a treat for the home fans. Julio Cascante setting the tone for a first half that swung one way, then the other. As in next to no time, momentum shifted towards the San Jose Earthquakes. Paul Marie's cross getting a touch from Benji Kikanovic that left Brad Stuver stranded. Not the most emphatic finish, but the Quakes didn't have to wait much longer for a strike they'll talk about for years to come, as Stuver's punch was returned with interest by Marie.
Oh, I say, what a thunderbolt!
Austin's lead overturned, but that state of play lasted just 6 minutes. Ethan Finlay picking out the home side's leading scorer.
Here's Driussi! And there's the equaliser!
Sebastian Driussi's 15th of the season, and he remained hungry for more, finding Maxi Arruti, then bursting onto Finlay's pass to restore Austin's lead. 3-2, shortly before both sides took a well-deserved breather at half-time. Hardly surprising the flow of goals slowed down after the break, but there was drama with just 2 minutes to go.
And Balbasi has headed home, and San Jose do have their equaliser!
The clubs may be battling at opposite ends of the table, but in all 5 of their meetings, Austin have never been able to beat the Quakes.
You get the idea of how week 24 was playing out, and of all the places to anticipate a goal fest, it was here. Colorado were 5-4 winners in midweek, while Minnesota drew 4-4 last time out. Abu Dinladi set the tone, or perhaps merely continued it, as a riposte was forthcoming from the Rapids. Dane Sinclair juggled the ball onto Jazi Zardes' foot for a 7th-minute Colorado equaliser. And they were soon gifted another.
And it's headed in, it's a free header, and it's goal number 11 for Diego Rubio.
Adrian Heath later described his team's defending as horrific. This was probably the only goal he wasn't talking about.
Oh my word! Jazi Zardes! It's 2 out of the Rapids 3.
Minnesota shipping a trio of goals in 8 first-half minutes. They did something very similar against Portland last week and was saved by Luis Amarilla. He gave them a chance to do the same with a super goal before thunderstorms halted this terrific match in its pond. A 90-minute delay followed before play restarted, and they just picked up where they were.
He spilled it again, and Zardes has got a hat-trick!
Zardes' last and only previous MLS hat-trick was back in 2018 against Minnesota. Rather appropriately, lightning had struck twice. Just not for the Loons. Brent Coleman's header made everyone believe that 4-3 was soon to become 4-4, and it should have been. Bonga Hukla Hlongwane spurned his late chance to give Colorado's playoff hopes a huge boost.
Less goalmouth action to shout about in Portland, where FC Dallas had the best first-half opportunity. Paul Arriola breaking free after the Timbers squandered possession. The post prevented the Texans from taking a lead back to the dressing room. Another defensive mistake after the break put Arriola face-to-face again with Aliash Ivicic, the keeper doing enough to put him off. As the Timbers had survived those 2 big scares, the sides were still inseparable 5 minutes into stoppage time at the end of the match, when Portland pushed for victory themselves. Marvin Laria's shot blocked by Matt Hedges, which looked an excellent intervention, until video review told a different story. Handball, and Laria lined up what would surely be the winner.
Laria is saved, but the rebound is put in! He won't care!
Understandably, the home side celebrated as if 3 points were in the bag. Big mistake.
Flicked on and in! Dallas has leveled the match in the 100th minute!
Diego Chara's own goal gave the game an astonishing final twist.
Friday night at BC Place, and Vancouver without a win in 5 MLS games since victory here against LAFC. Houston's form hadn't been handy either, so Fafa Picault's faint touch 6 minutes in was a very welcome one for the Dynamo, and if it wasn't for the power of goalkeeper Cody Cropper's left arm, the game could have been out of Vancouver's reach by the hour. The Whitecaps had an issue anyway, as coach Vanni Sartini was without 6 players because of COVID. But had it not been for that, Simon Betcher's chance from the substitutes bench might never have materialised. He seized his moment on his MLS debut to prod in an 88th minute equaliser for the Whitecaps. The mood inside BC Place had switched from desperate to demanding. They sensed Houston could be there for the taking, and they were right.
It's still alive here for the Caps. Cavallini on his left foot. It's in! Lucas Cavallini!
Sartini said afterwards that if Vancouver do reach the playoffs this year, it'll be this win that got them over the line.
Bottom of the West, Sporting Kansas City hadn't scored at home in the league since the middle of June. A drought broken brilliantly by Eric Tommy. The German's first MLS goal rocked the LA Galaxy, who faced more problems midway through the first half when Derek Williams handled a shot from Andreu Fontas. A penalty to be taken by Johnny Russell. Jonathan Bond's agile stop frustrated the SKC veteran and warmed him up for an incredible confrontation with one of their recent signings, William Agada. Fed by Roger Espinosa, he was foiled 3 times in rapid succession by the Galaxy goalkeeper. Or so it seemed. When the chance was reviewed, the second of those efforts was deemed to have crossed the line, and the Nigerian had his first MLS goal. The scorer's attempt to jump into the boss's arms may have been overambitious, but everything else he touched was turning to gold. Right before half-time, Agada converted Daniel Shallowy's cross. This celebration flawlessly executed. It was the first time in more than 25 years SKC had put 3 past the Galaxy in the regular season, but a really clever goal from Chicharito kept the contest alive. The offside flag overruled because the wily Mexican had timed his run to perfection. Just 7 minutes of the regulation 90 remained. In the last of those, Sporting began to get anxious. When Uri Rosell was judged to have handled, Chicharito had the chance to reduce the home side's lead to a single goal. Confidently done, and the Galaxy keen to get on with things. Only for the prospect of an unlikely comeback to be killed off by Julian Araujo's underhit back pass. Shallowy added a goal to his earlier assist to seal the home side's first win in 5.
Impressive at home, Charlotte were right in the playoff mix.
The Queen City is partying. Are you not entertained?
But Chicago were on the charge.
And it is Shaqiri.
They'd move above their hosts with a win.
What a goal!
Watching this Eastern Conference clash was Jonathan Beck.
It's Charlotte against an in-form Fireside who are looking to leapfrog them in the standings, and if results go their way, they could even find themselves in 5th position, the visitors here. What an amazing result and turnaround that would be. But you can expect an intense game. Wow, we did not expect an early goal. And how about that? Gaga Slonina beaten inside 30 seconds as Reyna stoops to send the home fans wild. McNeil didn't quite get enough on the header. Ira Torres has picked it up. Navarro to Jimenez. Lining it up. Kalina's down. Shabilko hammers it home. And the fire level after 20 minutes. Kasper Shabilko, who's only managed 1 goal since the middle of March, has struck here when the Fire needed him. This is Jaro Torres. Shaqiri. Oh, what a goal that is! A brilliant hit from Navarro. And the Fire have turned it around with 2 goals in 3 minutes. Federico Navarro, the midfielder who won't give you a moment's rest, has lashed that one in brilliantly. McNeil, that's a nice little passage of play. Gains it, hug the touchline. The right idea. Bronico, Reina, they've got a little lucky. Here's Swiderski, crowded out, but it's gone in anyway. Swiderski's going to claim it, and Charlotte are level right on the cusp of half-time. The defenders got in each other's way. They made a real hash of clearing it when it looked easier to do that. They do not care one bit. Karol Swiderski has got his 7th goal in Bank of America Stadium, and Charlotte have pulled it level. Navarro doesn't get there. Nearly caught Gaines as well on the edge of the area. Shaqiri, absolutely perfect. Didn't need to look up. Shabilko, Shabilko! It's a brilliant finish. But how about the brilliant ball that preceded it? What an assist that was from the captain. It has finished here. Charlotte FC 2, the Chicago Fire 3.
We're a lot more effective, a lot more efficient in the final third. We're still not, putting away as many chances as we should, but we're doing enough to win because we play very good defensively as a team.
Top of the East, the Philadelphia Union's 5-match winning streak came under threat in Cincinnati. When Alvis Powell set up Brenner, the pace setters needed video review to come to their rescue. The effort was disallowed, having bounced off the Brazilian's arm. Disappointing for Cincinnati boss Pat Noonan, formerly the Union's assistant coach. His old club should have heeded the warning.
Mario to Vasquez! There it is!
That 14th goal of the year for Brandon Vasquez after the break keeps him very much in the hunt for the Golden Boot. And Cincinnati added to their advantage just 5 minutes later. Brenner's name on the score sheet after all, helped by some excellent work in the build-up from Luciano Acosta, who continued to give Philadelphia big problems.
Now Acosta, off for Barrial, into the 18, make it 3!
The first time the Union had conceded that many this season, more used to tearing defences apart themselves. Even the 1-goal teenager Paxton Aronson provided required a huge deflection, and it was little consolation for Jim Curtin's defeated leaders.
Staying in Ohio with Columbus, who were at home for the 4th game running. Montreal had won here in the week with 2 very late goals, and the latest visitors, NYCFC, had a very early one after a cruel deflection of Jonathan Mensah. That midweek defeat was the Crew's first in over 2 months, but the response came quickly via a new source for regular goals.
On for Cucho!
Caleb Porter described his whole front four as electric after the game, and another member of that quartet then stimulated the senses. Chief entertainer Lucas Zelarayan with another for the collection just before the half hour. NYCFC were missing their chance to pull level with Philadelphia at the top of the East, though wouldn't have expected Aloy Room to be in the way of Gabriel Pereira's lunging attempt. All part of a hectic first half. Cucho then caressed a shot which pinged off the top of Sean Johnson's crossbar, but he is clearly enjoying his early experiences of MLS. His team, though, suffered more misfortune after the restart. Officially, this was marked down as a Pereira goal, but undoubtedly it was not by design. Yet to their credit, Columbus kept their heads to win it with 15 minutes to go.
And Zelarayan! Simply sensational!
With the whole crew together, Columbus could yet have a big end to the year.
Behind NYCFC in third, CF Montreal made a fast start at home to Inter Miami as Samuel Piette spotted Romel Kyoto peeling away from his marker. That prompted an immediate response from the visitors. Having netted a hat-trick against Cincinnati the previous week, Gonzalo Higuain was back among the goals, a neat chip that made the most of Alejandro Pozuelo's probing pass. As Montreal tried to regain the initiative, Mason Toye was left wondering how Christopher McVeigh had diverted Piette's cross. He had his suspicions, which were confirmed by video review, handing Kyoto a gilt-edged opportunity to restore the home club's lead.
Right foot, and he buries it! 2-1, CF Montreal, Kyoto's got two!
Inter Miami boss Phil Neville feared the worst, knowing there was some tiredness in a team that had travelled 6,000 miles, crisscrossing the continent and beating San Jose along the way. Substitute Emerson Rodriguez looked fresh enough though, as he snatched a draw 11 minutes from the end, an opportunity missed for Montreal, considering the top two both lost.
On paper, DC United against the New York Red Bulls had plenty going for it. Atlantic Cup rivals, DC desperately trying to claw back some ground in the playoff picture under Wayne Rooney. But the reality is that both sides could have done with the former England striker's inventiveness on the pitch. And number 9 for the Red Bulls did go close. Patrick Klimala pulled a shot wide in a game that just didn't have the same might as the others on week 24. So apologies for the interruption. Back to the goal show.
On the wrong end of a late comeback in DC the previous week, Orlando City suffered a much earlier setback against the New England Revolution. Matt Polster gave the Revs a great start in a really important match in that tight tussle between several clubs either side of the playoff line in the East. Orlando's form is faltering. Alexandra Pato tried to turn their fortunes around, but found Georgi Petrovic determined to keep a third successive clean sheet. With a defence that solid, a second goal would put the visitors in a commanding position. Tommy McNamara the creator again, as Wilfred Kaptoum doubled the Revs' lead. The home side's boss Oscar Pereira described the second half as painful, and you could see his point. Loose at the back and frustrating up front, Facundo Torres only rattled the post when he really should have given Orlando a lifeline. The outcome was beyond doubt once Henry Kessler latched onto Carles Hill's corner. The Revs defender ecstatic to have grabbed a rare goal as the hosts slipped to their third league defeat in a row.
To our final game, and it's fair to say that Nashville are in the West, where Toronto crave to be in the East. TFC's late playoff charge is threatening to gain momentum though, Jonathan Osorio's opener helping their quest. Nashville had been notably off-colour in recent games, at least by their standards, but perseverance is one of the boys in gold's great qualities. CJ Sapong ensured Alex Bono made enough contact with him to win a penalty, and frankly, Hani Mukhtar was never going to miss it. It was late enough in the first half to assume the duo would go in level at the break, and they did, but not before 2 more goals. Osorio is hurtling towards his best ever scoring season in MLS. This was his 8th of the campaign and 2nd of the night at Jodis Park. But also in fine fettle right now is Teal Bunbury. The former Revs forward has now scored in 4 consecutive games after 10 months without a goal in MLS. Bob Bradley's been hand-picking new recruits for TFC in recent weeks, so when the opportunity to re-sign former favourite Richie Larea on loan cropped up, they weren't going to say no. On his second debut, he coaxed the former Toronto fullback Daniel Lovitz into making a challenge, and Federico Bernardeschi was emphatic as Mukhtar had been from the spot. But there was another Italian who was still waiting for his first goal in red.
Insigne once more, finds the angle and finds the net! His first goal in Major League Soccer, Il Magnifico with a magnificent strike!
The perfect night for Toronto was nearly punctured by Walker Zimmerman's header late on. Nashville, though, beaten at home, and they're now hanging on to their spot in the top 7.
Toronto remain 13th in the East despite that win, but are now just 4 points off the final playoff place, currently occupied by a Chicago side who won back-to-back away games for the first time since October 2013.
LAFC now hold a 6-point lead in both the Supporters' Shield race and over Austin at the top of the West. Dallas are up to 3rd, while Portland jump above rival Seattle into 7th.
Of Week 24's 60 goals, we leave you with a treble.
Inzaghi's has got a hat-trick!
2 stoppage time winners.
It's in! Lucas Cavalieri!
And a first in MLS.
El Magnifico with a magnificent strike!
This copyrighted broadcast of Major League Soccer may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.